Sometimes you gotta do that. I was fucked up, fucked up, fucked up, fucked up. I was fucked up, fucked up, fucked up, fucked up. I was fucked up, fucked up, fucked up, fucked up. I was fucked up, fucked up, fucked up. When I did it, I was fucked up, fucked up, fucked up, fucked up. I was fucked up, fucked up. I hit rock bottom, but I make no excuses. My behavior on that video is inexcusable. I take full responsibility for my actions in that video.
Now you see now. I'm not going to call P. Diddy a bitch. 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 Sean Combs is a bitch. Yeah. Sean Combs is a bitch. They bitches too. Sean Combs is a bitch. Yeah. Sean Combs is a bitch. Yeah. You don't hit women when you're a man. You don't hit women when you're a man. P. Diddy a bitch. 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 Sean Combs is a bitch. Yeah. I'm not going to call P. Diddy a bitch or any other name like that. But I ain't gonna stop anybody else from doing it. I'm not gonna malign them. P. Diddy a bitch. 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 P. Diddy.
All right. Hello, everyone. Thanks for tuning back in once again to the original Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur show. I'm your host, Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur, and this is your morning wake-up call. So as you're coming in, please feel free to go subscribe to the channel. If you haven't done so already, be sure to click that notification bell and click the word all so you're notified each time the Queen Goddess goes live. Okay, so let's get into it. Let's see who's in here. Let's see who is in here. All right, Claudette. Pearly is here. Buckhorse DC. All right, Reggie's in the house. Above all that drama. All hell nah, perplexed. Vince I am from the UK. All right, so shout out to all of my loyal royals and everyone tuned into the Queen. Let's get this party started. Everyone be so kind as to hit that like button. It's the least you can do. Okay, it's the least you can do. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram at Dr._A_Shakur and also on X at TheGoddess27. That all being said, before we get started, let's have a brief word from my sponsor at 12 Tribes. Here we go.
Do not buy 12 Tribes on Earth hair growth oil and hair magic elixir unless you want super healthy, gorgeous hair that grows. They have a whole line of amazing hair growth products, including hair growth leave-in conditioner spray, hair growth shampoo, hair growth spray, and hair growth butter. I'm starting to sense a theme here. They include quality natural ingredients. They smell amazing, and you can see the results for yourself. So if you're looking for healthy hair growth for your natural or relaxed hair, try 12 Tribes on Earth today.
Okay, so don't forget you can purchase 12 Tribes for your hair at Etsy.com. You can also find it at Walmart.com. Okay, so let's get into it. Everybody hit the like button. Now, let's talk about Courtney Clenney because we haven't heard about this story in a while. And I said, you know what? I wonder what's going on because I'm not hearing about this in the media. Okay, so let's talk about it. And you all remember Courtney Clenney. It's the blonde OnlyFans lady, okay, who took the life of her boyfriend, Christian Abum-Saleh. And at first, they were acting like they did not want to arrest this nefarious woman, okay? Now, for those of you who remember, I went through the entire timeline, and from the timeline, we could fairly assess that she didn't call the paramedics immediately after she stabbed this man, thrusting a knife deep into his chest. And in fact, she lied initially and said that she threw the knife from across the room from about 10 feet away and it was plunged into his chest. Okay, yeah, that's impossible. But so anyway, let's talk about what's been going on with this case. Because the prosecutor stepped down about 3 weeks ago. So let's get into it. Lead prosecutor in OnlyFans murder case steps down after judge rules that he can be deposed. So the lead prosecutor in the murder trial of OnlyFans model Courtney Clenney stepped down Monday after a judge ruled that he could be deposed over text messages and emails that he obtained, okay, that the court ruled were covered by attorney-client privilege. Now, this sounds reminiscent of the situation with Diddy about his attorney-client privilege when they had messages or whatever that he'd written down in his cell. So in a single-page memo to Miami-Dade Chief Assistant State Attorney Kathleen Hogue, Assistant State Attorney Khalil Quinan said while he found material errors of fact in the court's decision to allow the deposition, he was left with no choice but to withdraw because if deposed, he would become a witness. Okay, he said, it is my hope that my withdrawal will facilitate the resolution of the defendant's meritless motions, correct the record, and allow these proceedings to focus on what truly matters. Okay, justice for Christian Abum-Saleh. That's what he said. Now, I want you all to pay attention. Khalil Quinan. Okay, I'm pretty sure Khalil is somebody who looks like me from the sound of his name. Now, in the memo, Quinan said that he planned to withdraw from the case earlier for paternity leave, but stayed in part because of constant attacks by the defense counsel. Now, Quinan will be replaced by Miami-Dade Assistant State Attorney Sean Abuhoff. Okay, the original lead prosecutor when Clenney was charged with the stabbing death of her boyfriend, Christian Abum-Saleh, in their Bayfront Miami high-rise in August of 2022. Now, Abuhoff is keenly aware of the case, having led it earlier and covered it repeatedly for Quinan for the past few months. Now, in June, Miami-Dade Circuit Court Judge Laura Chiron Cruz said the state violated attorney-client privilege when prosecutors collected text messages and emails between Clenney's parents, Deborah Lynn Clenney and Kim Dwayne Clenney, okay, and their attorneys, even if prosecutors weren't aware at the time that the model's parents had hired legal representation. So that's why they couldn't get information from them, because they had attorneys. So at that point, you have to speak with their attorneys, okay, not directly to them, and especially not getting evidence from them. Okay, so Clenney, who's 28 years old, by the way, and her parents had been charged in a computer hacking scheme, okay, that the state said it uncovered through communications it obtained with the court's permission. Now, these charges were dropped, or those charges were dropped. Among the items collected by prosecutors through text and email were an outline of the defense team's plans on how it intended to defend the case. Okay, well, the question for me is, why would they have that in their email? Courtney Clenney's parents. Why would they have the defense team's strategy about how they intended to defend the case? I guess they were just filling the parents in, but unfortunately for them, the prosecution knows the whole spill. Okay. And so the prosecutor stepping down, and I want you all to pay attention to something. The prosecutor stepping down in this case was very smart. Okay, very smart, because what they'll try to do, and I believe they will absolutely try to do this, because she is a white woman who murdered a black man. And we know how those situations can turn out. Okay, we know how those people can get away with certain things. Now, so here's what I'm thinking, that the prosecutor likely stepped down specifically because the court ruled that it was attorney-client privilege, and he didn't want to give them any reason to try to get her off on a technicality. Okay, he didn't want to give them any reason to try to declare a mistrial. All right, and so kudos to him for that, because at the end of the day, they're going to try to get this woman off. I mean, let's not forget how it was 5 months, I believe, before they even arrested her, because they apparently didn't want to arrest her in the first place. Okay, she was in Hawaii or somewhere, if you remember. All right. But anyway, she needs to pay the price for what she did. Now, with that all being said, they say that her attorney says Clenney was defending herself when Abumsale was killed. A trial date has not been set. She wasn't defending herself. Okay, she was not defending herself. Now, she stabbed this man to death in their Bayfront Miami condo during a moment of rage. Okay, they were having an argument. She was pissed because he was gone for hours. As far as she was concerned, he had been doing something else. He went to pick up sandwiches and was gone for 2 or 3 hours, and she was pissed. Left at 1 something and came back at 4 something. Exactly. And she was very jealous of him. She was insecure, and they had a tumultuous relationship. We saw her attacking him in the elevator, okay? But she wanted to pretend that she was the victim. But she was the one that was basically committing DV against him, okay? And that's just what it is. Now, they can sit here and try to paint this fictitious narrative all they want. But the truth of the matter is she's a cold-blooded killer, and she needs to get life in prison as far as I'm concerned. Now, they're going to try to do everything they can to get her off. That's what they're going to do. They're going to pull out all the stops, because please remember the blonde 18-year-old by the name of Brooke Skylar Richardson that I reported to you all about 4 years ago. How she murdered her own baby when it was born, set it on fire, burned it, stabbed it, set it on fire, buried it in the backyard. 2 months later, when she went for a gynecologist exam and they realized that she'd given birth, because I guess the placebo was probably still up there, who knows? But at the end of the day, they knew that she had given birth. And when they found out what she had done and found that baby, and she lied and told them the baby was born, stillborn, it was dead already, they only charged her with desecration of a corpse. Okay, with about 6 months. And I don't even think she did that. Okay, I want you all to pay attention how they want to get these women off, because they don't like sending blonde-haired white women to prison, especially if they kill somebody who looks like me. And in the case of Brooke Skylar Richardson, I believe that baby that she murdered was black. I believe that's why she set it on fire, so that even if it was ever dug up, no one would be able to tell. Okay, and if the baby was born deceased, why would she have stabbed it? Okay, please make it all make sense. But they took her word for it, even though she's a cold-blooded killer. Can you imagine somebody that looks like me sitting up in court after having murdered somebody, and then I'm sitting there, or a child that was born, and I said the child was dead, but they find it stabbed and burned to death and burned in my backyard, and then I tell them, oh, it's already dead when it was born. I didn't kill it. You think that would just fly and I would get off? Okay, anyway, honey, these people are a whole hot mess. I'm going to share my screen so you all can see this report. Likes up, everyone, please. Like and share. Thank you in advance.
Can't feel my heart. What, ma'am? My boyfriend is dying of a stab, ma'am. Like I said, a little bit slur. He ended up pinning me against the wall. He had my neck, and this happened twice before, where I couldn't breathe. I grabbed my knife and I said, "Don't come anywhere closer to me." I had absolutely no intention of using it. It's coming at me, and I threw it.
This morning, we're turning the spotlight on the future trial of OnlyFans model Courtney Clenney. As guess what? The lead prosecutor has stepped down. Clenney is accused of stabbing her boyfriend, Christian Abumsale, to death in their Miami.
Hold on, beloveds. Try to make sure I don't have any copyright issues here. Hold on just a second, because this is Court TV. Okay, so let me just put a little music in the background. Okay, there we go.
condo back in 2022. Last month, the judge granted the defense team's motion to depose that lead prosecutor who just stepped down. His name is Khalil Quinnen. Now, this is over text messages and emails that he obtained that the court ruled he shouldn't have looked at. They were covered by attorney-client privilege. Here's Quinnen in court.
We were okay with the records being sealed, hence why it was called an oppose, for the purposes of just getting this over with. And then however the court rules is however the court rules, and whatever's appropriate to be protected is protected, and whatever's not, that's perfectly fine. And the pleadings could be redacted and so on. But that I had to file a pleading by last week, Friday, in response necessarily undercut the defendant's premise of their motion.
Now, Quinnen says he was left with no choice but to withdraw if he's going to be deposed, because he would then become a witness in his own case. And that's a huge no-no. Well, let's get some reaction from this from the defense attorneys who fought so hard to uncover what had happened with these prosecutors going into the text message thread, the Team Courtney text message thread that was private. Sabrina Puglisi and Frank Prieto on the program. Good morning to you both and welcome back. So let's start with the deposition of this guy. Sabrina, what's going to happen next, please?
Well, we are waiting to be able to do this deposition. The judge has asked us to propose questions to the state, so they'll be prepared as to what exactly we're going to ask. They have the opportunity to then look at those questions, make their objections. The judge is going to sit in on the deposition, and she'll be able to make rulings right there on the spot as we're asking these questions. So it's going to be interesting. I know in my 25 years, I've never had something like this happen.
Sure. And will we get to see it, Sabrina? Would this be something where we can have our cameras in there?
No, I'm going to say that the judge will not allow the cameras, and whether the deposition will actually be sealed once it is taken instead of actually filed, which normally happens in any public case, that remains to be seen. It will be up to the judge.
Gotcha. Okay, thank you for that. Frank, let me turn to you on something we talked about last time you both were on. You've been pushing for that whole team to be disqualified because of this incident and going through those private messages that you and Sabrina had with Courtney and her mom and dad. We've got one prosecutor stepping down. Is that enough for you, or are you still pushing for the whole team to be DQ'd?
At this stage, we're still pushing for the entire office, not just the team, the office to be taken off of the case. As you indicated earlier with Sabrina, the deposition of this prosecutor who ran amok on this case is going to be kind of quintessential in figuring out how deep the penetration into our defense camp the prosecutors went. Who he spoke to, what other members of the team did he produce these privileged documents to for them to review. So his deposition is really going to help in the breadth and depth of that intrusion. So, I think that his deposition is going to help get the entire office off the case. And quite honestly, that office, who I used to work for, if they wanted to do the right thing, they should all get off the case now.
Oh, wow. And that's interesting. So before you entered the private sector doing criminal defense work, you served as a prosecutor in that Miami-Dade office, Frank?
I did, and it was a wonderful 4 years of experience. Kathleen Hogue, who was part of the prosecution team, was my supervisor. And quite honestly, I don't think something like this would have happened 25 years ago when I was with the office.
Mm-hmm. And appreciate that in the background. And so I'm curious, in terms of getting the whole office, conflicted off of this case, have you taken any steps to reach out to the Attorney General's office, Frank?
We have not. At this stage, a lot of this is going to fall into it's Judge Cruz's case, and she's going to have to make these difficult decisions of who she's taking off the case, if anyone. And then, once she makes her ruling, hopefully it will result in certain members, if not the whole office, being taken off. And then the governor will have to appoint a conflict office to come in and have a new prosecution team assigned.
Appreciate that. Sabrina, let me go to you, please, on what everybody wants to know, when this case is going to trial. Last time we talked, still wasn't a trial date. Is there one this morning?
No, there's not. And that's the real shame of all of this, right? Is that Courtney has been sitting in jail for 2.5 years. For the last 1 year since last January, this breach came up, that laptop case, which was eventually dismissed. All of this has been going on, us trying to get these prosecutors off the case. And Courtney's the one who's sitting in jail suffering while this is going on because she's innocent and she wants her trial. And to answer your question, unfortunately, no, we still do not have a court date.
Wow. Sabrina, thank you for that. And, you know, we always like to ask, how is Courtney doing in jail? How is she doing all this time? Any improvements physically, mentally, anything you can share with us? Anyway, good or bad?
You know, I'll tell you that she's very strong-minded. She's been exercising again more, and that helps to take her mind off this. But all these constant delays are taking a toll on her mentally. You know, she just wants to be able to have her trial, and she constantly asks me, is there a date yet? Is there a date yet? And I keep having to say no, and we have to wait for all these delays. And it is taking a toll on her, I have to say.
Appreciate you both coming on and keeping us apprised of everything. Boy, I know this has been quite a fight and taken up a lot more time than it should have for you both. But what great advocacy you've done on this case. And Courtney is very, very fortunate to have you both. Sabrina Puglisi, Frank Prieto, thank you for speaking with me today. We'll talk again soon.
Thanks, Julie.
Take care.
Luckily for us, our poo-poo goes bye-bye.
Okay, I want you all to pay attention. They're going to try to get her off with everything they can, honey. They're going to try to act like she's painted. They're already painting her as the victim. Oh, she's sitting in jail and she's the one that's suffering because she's innocent. No, the hell she's not. How could you fix your mouth to say she's innocent? How could you fix your mouth to say that it was self-defense? Because here's the thing that's very important to note. She's already damned herself, in my opinion, by her own words. She lied and said that she was 10 feet away from him approximately when she threw the knife. So here's the question. If she was that far away from him, how is that self-defense? Okay. How is that self-defense? He's nowhere near you. He didn't have a gun in his hand. So how is that self-defense? You throwing a knife at somebody that's 10 feet away. Okay, please make that make sense. Okay, that's a lie that's going to come back to haunt her upon cross-examination. Okay, please pay attention because that's exactly what I would be talking about. Okay, ma'am, I'm going to need you to explain yourself. Okay, please sit down somewhere, honey, the lies. Anyway, like I said, she's probably going to get off, unfortunately. Let's not forget the white woman who was arguing with her boyfriend. They went to someone's wedding, a friend of theirs. After the wedding, or sometimes during the reception, she got upset because she was insecure and ended up arguing with him at the wedding, arguing at the bar for the reception, gets to the house and stabs him while he's lying in the bed. Now, this man was asleep, I'm pretty sure. And that's what, you know, the defense speculated, or the prosecution speculated, that he was likely asleep because, for one, he would have gotten up to defend himself. If he sees somebody coming at him with a knife and he's lying in bed, he'd get up to defend himself. He didn't have any defense wounds. There was no cuts or abrasions on him, just a stab wound in his chest. And she didn't go to jail. They said that it was self-defense, that he was beating her and she had to defend herself, even though that man was found lying in the bed dead. Clearly, she attacked him while he was lying on his back. Okay? People from the wedding and reception said that they saw them arguing and she was the aggressor. None of that mattered. Okay? Please pay attention. Someone said, how did the argument start? The argument started when Christopher Abumsale went to get food for them. He went to buy sandwiches. He came back about 3 hours later, and she was pissed off, wanted to know why he had taken so long. Okay, that's how it all started, according to reports. Now, with that all being said, let's talk about this chat leak again. I know y'all probably tired of hearing about it, but at the end of the day, it's a very significant mistake that Trump's foolish administration has made. And guess what? Remember how I told you all that Trump is mad about it, that I read a report that Trump's pissed off about it, but he's just acting like he isn't in the media? Well, now I know why he's so upset. First of all, because it makes him look like an idiot, and it makes him look like he, put a bunch of idiots in positions that they're not qualified for, which is exactly what he did. And here's another thing why he's upset. It's because Israel's upset. Israel is pissed Okay, so let's talk about it. I'm going to share my screen so you all can see this report, because Israel is very ticked off. Okay, so this little mistake that they made, and here's the thing. Remember how I told you all that this was basically, remember how I told you all that the chat leak was an inside job? You heard it here first. You all remember me telling you that, right? You remember me telling you that it was an inside job? Well, it was, okay? It absolutely was, because there's no way that somebody accidentally sent that link specifically to a reporter, a journalist. They wanted that information to get out. Now, what exactly was their motive? I don't know. But they were trying to expose somebody. That's my opinion, that they were absolutely trying to expose somebody. But anyway, let's hear this.
This news has learned Israeli officials are furious over the leak of a Signal group chat discussing military strikes on Houthi targets in Yemen. A senior U.S. intel official with knowledge of the situation says the chat involving top administration officials compromised an Israeli intelligence source who provided the location for the target in the attack. CBS News national security contributor Sam Vinograd joins us now for this and other national security headlines. So, Sam, now that we know the Signal chat is affecting U.S. relations with allies, what do you make of this?
Well, as a general matter, Lindsay, the United States depends on intelligence relationships with foreign partners like Israel to get access to information that we would not necessarily have, in particular in regions where other partners might have a greater presence or more intelligence assets. Those partners' intelligence is critical to, for example, engaging in targeting operations. The fact that Israeli intelligence may have become public as part of this Signal chat could really damage ongoing intelligence cooperation between the United States and Israel, as well as between the United States and other intelligence partners who now have reason to think that the U.S. may be callous with sensitive intelligence. All of our intelligence partners are very focused on safeguarding their own sources and methods, and this whole incident, I fear, could have a chilling effect on intelligence sharing because of the callousness with which the National Security Advisor and the Secretary of Defense treated sensitive information that it turns out may not have even been ours.
So those are the reverberations among our foreign allies. Let's talk reverberations domestically. The New York Times spoke to a dozen Air Force and Navy fighter pilots who said going forward, they can no longer be certain the Pentagon is focused on their safety when they strap into cockpits, and that the inadvertent invitation to the journalist, as well as Secretary Hex's insistence he did nothing wrong by disclosing military plans in the chat, upend decades of military doctrine about operational security. Your reaction?
Well, let's just keep in mind why information is deemed classified or sensitive in the first place. It's because its unauthorized disclosure could cause harm to U.S. national security. That is exactly why operational security plans, in my experience, are solely discussed and communicated about on classified or sensitive platforms in very specific communications channels and even very specific rooms. The fact that this information was out there in an encrypted but not classified communications channel means that a range of bad actors could have gotten information about U.S. troop locations, U.S. military assets, and more before these strikes occurred. That could have put U.S. service members directly in harm's way. And because Secretary of Defense Hegseth is failing to acknowledge that this is a misstep, I do think it's sending a message within the Pentagon that he does not consider operational security requirements in the same way that his predecessors did. So at that point, that is likely the reason that U.S. service members are concerned about their own safety and operational security going forward.
Yeah, he doesn't look at it as serious as his predecessors. And that's obvious because not only does he seem to want to brush this under the rug and act like it's no big deal, but let's not forget that I told you all that he took his wife to meetings with foreign officials. Okay, and she does not have a high level security clearance. So clearly he thinks it's just no big deal.
Forward.
Sam, I also want to ask you about this because Vice President Vance and National Security Advisor Waltz were in mineral-rich Greenland today, and the Vice President told members of the press that Russia and China are definitely interested in Greenland and that Greenlanders will be more secure under American rule. They also said our friends in Denmark having done their job in keeping this area safe. Are there national security concerns here?
Well, there are, but just legally speaking, it's not really up to the vice president as to whether the people of Greenland would or would not be better off under U.S. sovereignty or some sort of U.S. partnership with the United States. When it comes to Greenland, Lindsay, it's about location, location, location. Greenland is the largest island in the world. It is located between two oceans, the Atlantic and the Arctic, and two continents, Europe and the United States. It is critical to maintaining access to key shipping lanes in the Arctic, which reduce shipping times by over 40% versus other trade routes. It is critical to intercepting missiles if they're fired from Russia, for example, towards the United States. And overall, it is certainly location-wise at a key point when it comes to trying to push back against China and Russia, trying to gain dominance over the Arctic region. But all of that considered, Denmark has control over Greenland. It's a self-governing territory of Denmark. And if Greenland was ever to get independence, it would have to vote in a referendum. The Danish parliament would have to approve that. And so it's not just as easy as assessing that Greenland would be good for U.S. national security and taking some kind of action in that regard. Greenland is key from a geopolitical perspective, but again, it is a self-governing territory of Denmark.
Sam Vinaigrette, thank you.
Thanks.
If you have an old heating or air conditioning system like this one, we can replace it with a brand new, super efficient one like this one right
so with
here.
that all being said, I want you all to pay attention. So that's the real reason Trump wants Greenland. But he, like I said, they're trying to act like it's no big deal, but they're pissing off, their foreign allies in the process. And, another thing is Israel doesn't want anybody knowing who their targets are or that they're willing to target, an entire building just to take out one person. They don't want people knowing things like that. Please pay attention. They gave out very sensitive information. Typing too fast. This is Mike Waltz. Typing too fast. The first target, their top missile guy. We had positive ID of him walking into his girlfriend's building, and it's now collapsed. So that was the target. I want you all to pay attention. This was one person they were targeting, and they killed everybody in that building potentially just to get him. We had positive ID of him walking into his girlfriend's building, and it's now collapsed. How many children and elders were in that building? How many children and elders were in that building? You see, the United States is full of ish. They're all about war because war brings money. I told you all how with the Afghanistan war, they were over there for 20 years talking about taking down the Taliban, but the Taliban still rises. The Taliban still rules. When they pulled out, when Biden told the troops to come home, they say they left over $81,000 worth of equipment over there. Yeah, right. What they were doing, in my opinion, and I can't prove it, but I'm pretty sure what they were doing is money laundering. When they say, oh, we left $80,000 worth of military equipment, all this and that. Yeah, money laundering. Just like sending, just like when Doge said they were sending money over here, millions for a Sesame Street stuff or whatever. Do you really think that's what they were doing? Of course not. Why would they? Where's the money really going? At the end of the day, I still want to see Elon's receipts and invoices, but I absolutely believe they were money laundering. That's what I think. And I don't think it's just the Democrats, the Republicans too, I believe. Our government is corrupt. That's just what it is. And they love war. They love war. People were saying Kamala was going to be all about war if she was in the White House, but Trump's all about war too. He said that he's the king of Israel in 2019. It was prophesied that he would say that in 2015. So yeah, he's going to do whatever the hell they tell him to do, and that's why he's really mad, because they're really mad. And let's not forget what Julian Assange said. Somebody said it in the chat the other day. President Trump is the president of peace. This is what Tulsi Gabbard said with her lying self. She sounds ridiculous, and I had high expectations of her, because of her military credentials and all of that, but she needs to sit down somewhere, and also because she called out Kamala on her record. Now, President Trump is the president of peace. He is ending bloodshed across the world and will deliver lasting peace in the Middle East. Where Joe Biden failed, President Trump will succeed. Girl, sit down somewhere. Sit down somewhere. President of peace. What? This is the same one that encouraged his followers, supporters, to go and cause a whole insurrection at the Capitol. Peace. Yeah, okay. And by the way, speaking of Trump, y'all are not going to believe what this idiot did. Okay? We're going to talk about that in just a second. But before we do, let's talk about Julian Assange, because somebody said it in the chat the other day. I can't remember who said it, but somebody brought up Julian Assange when I was talking about this chat leak. And I'm going to get to that in just a second. But hold on. Kolbakar, Israel, was incredibly angry about signal leak. Okay? And so this is what Senator Kolbakar said. I think I'm saying her name right. She says that Israel was incredibly angry about the plans to attack Houthi rebels in Yemen, okay, leaked in a signal group chat the Trump administration officials sent to a journalist. Now, she's joined MSNBC's Jen Psaki on Sunday, where she weighed in on the ongoing scandal. Okay, so here's what she had to say. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. She said, we're literally putting American service members at risk and also endangering our intelligence relationship with others. Now, after the Atlantic editor-in-chief, Jeffrey Goldberg, revealed he was added to the group chat, all eyes were on top Trump officials, okay? Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth denied that any war plans were shared via the commercial app, but a second round of screenshots showed that he shared the location, the time, and all of that of the attack, and even the weapons that were to be used. The messages published compromised a human source that provided intelligence to the Israelis, who then provided it to the U.S. to the U.S. for targeting the Houthi officials. Now, according to the Wall Street Journal, Israeli officials complained privately that National Security Advisor Mike Waltz's messages in the signal chat became public, and they were upset about it. So they were complaining about this amongst themselves. Klobuchar says that she's glad some of her Republican colleagues are calling for investigations. Okay, but highlighted other top Trump officials who have in the past spoke about the breach of classified information. She said, we have to know what has happened, what they've put at risk for our allies' intelligence, our own intelligence, our service members, she said. Okay, so this is nothing that you can just brush away, sweep up under the rug. And like I said, Trump's all about war, okay? This administration's all about war, just like Julian Assange told us in 2011. Let's go back and revisit. Because here's really why the U.S. gets into wars, okay? They tell all these lies, you know, and they really do this stuff to get money. Think about the Iran-Contra scam with Oliver North's testimony, how it was revealed that they were starting all this mess so that the CIA could put drugs, crack, in the Black community, so that they could have weapons and all of that for the rebels. Please pay attention. Hold on, I'm going to this video right now. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance.
Because the goal is not to completely subjugate Afghanistan. The goal is to use Afghanistan to wash money out of the tax bases of the United States, out of the tax bases of European countries, through Afghanistan and back into the hands of a transnational security elite. That is the goal, i.e. the goal is to have an endless war, not a successful war.
Now, isn't that what I told you all? That they were washing money? Didn't I tell y'all that they were laundering money? Okay, please pay attention. Please pay attention. All right? That's exactly what they're doing. And that's why they stayed in Afghanistan for 20 years. And when they left, Afghanistan was still in the same predicament that they were previously in. Okay, please pay attention. Please pay attention. Here's Julian Assange again. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Now, we got to talk about Tony Buzbee in a second, honey, because he is so nefarious. I did some digging on him and found out some stuff. Sure did.
That we are evolving into. Wars are a result of lies. The Vietnam War and the push for US involvement was a result of the Gulf of Tonkin incident. A lie. Here, here. The Iraq War famously is a result of lies. Wars in Somalia are a result of lies. The Second World War and the German invasion of Poland was a result of carefully constructed lies. That is war by media. Let us ask ourselves, of the complicit media, which is the majority of the mainstream press, what is the average death count attributed to each journalist? When we understand that wars come about as a result of lies peddled to the British public and the American public and the publics all over Europe and other countries, then who are the war criminals? It is not just leaders, it is not just soldiers, it is journalists. Journalists are war criminals. And why one might think that that should lead us to a state of despair, that the reality that is constructed around us is constructed by liars, is constructed by people who are close to those that they are meant to be policing. It should lead us also to an optimistic understanding, because if wars can be started by lies, truth can be started, peace can be started by truth.
Okay, please pay attention. Janine says it's because Israel was exposed for their involvement. Exactly. And it also showed that they're willing to murder numerous of people just to get one person. Let's not forget that hospital that was bombed. Okay? Okay, so that's the gist of it. At the end of the day, Trump's administration is perfectly fine with people dying just so they can get one person that was the target. They're fine with that. They're warmongers. And so is Tulsi Gabbard, okay? Sitting there defending Trump, talking about he's all about peace. No, he isn't. No, he isn't. And Elon Musk has turned Trump's behind into a babysitter. Okay, he's turned Trump into a whole babysitter, y'all. Please pay attention. Look at this. Look at this here, y'all. Trump is officially a babysitter, and the White House is a playpen. Okay? Facts. Ah, look at this. Look at the little omen just running along, happy as could be. Look at Damien. Look at little Damien. Vince I Am said a Manny. Yes, that's what he is. He's a Manny, honey. Look at him. Where's his father? Oh, there he is. Handling business. You see, Elon is the president. Ha! Elon's the president. Y'all see this? Isn't that something? Okay, I find it all interesting. I find it all interesting. Okay, so anyway, y'all saw it. Y'all saw how it all went down. Now, with that all being said, let's talk about Tony Buzbee. Because I told y'all from day one, Tony Buzbee was shady. Hold on. Andrew Vesey said, Damien, where have I heard that name before? LOL. That's the omen. You know where you heard it. Okay. Evelyn said, Queen, you're too funny calling him Damien. That's who he is. That's who he is, honey. His dad is the Antichrist as far as I'm concerned. Okay, so listen, and he is too. So let's talk about Tony Buzbee, because like I told you all yesterday, I told you from the get-go, Tony Buzbee was shady, that he's a whole Mason, in my opinion, and using the number 120 was part of him playing games with numerology and playing in our faces. Now, why is that significant? Well, you know, I did a little research on Tony Buzbee last night because I was bored, and here's what I found out. First of all, Tony Buzbee withdrew from another Diddy case, and then they say he blamed Jay-Z for it. But here's the thing that I find so interesting. Hold on. Let me see if I have the video of this. I think I do. Hold on. Here we go. Let me wait for this to cue real quick. Now, here's the thing. Oh, here it is. Here it is. Here's the video right here. Okay, I pulled up the wrong thing. Okay, so let me share my screen so you all can see this. So you all can see this because Tony Busby, he seems to have an affinity for the number 120. Let's get into it. Here we go.
And another story that we have been following since the day that this happened, we're talking about the Astroworld Festival and everything that happened there. We knew that lawsuits were coming. Lawsuits have already been filed. Well, now Houston attorney Tony Buzbee says that he's seeking at least $750 million for Astroworld victims.
Busby just filed suit on behalf of more than 120 clients.
Let's stop right there. Let's stop right there, Mr. Tony Nefarious Busby. Okay, did you all see this? Tony Busby did what? In the case against Travis Scott for the Astroworld tragedy, Tony Busby, look at the number. Look at the number. 120 plus clients, Tony Busby, just like with the Diddy situation. Didn't I tell you all that he was shady as hell and playing with numerology? Remember, you heard it here first. Okay? I know what I'm talking about. All right? My intuitive does not fool or deceive me.
Including the family of Axel Acosta, who was crushed to death during the tragedy. There are several people and companies named in the suit, including Travis Scott, Live Nation, Apple Music, and medic company Paradox. Well, the company's CEO said medics were treating 11 cardiac arrest patients at one time, even as the crowd thought it was a joke.
We were doing CPR on the back of carts, trying to get out of that crowd. People were jumping on.
Okay, I'm gonna stop right there. We don't need to listen to the rest because I reported on that incident when it happened. But I just wanted y'all to hear that. Okay, I find it all interesting. Busby filed the lawsuit on November the 15th of 2021 on behalf of more than 120 clients, including 21-year-old Axel Acosta, who died at the festival. Yeah, that's what Busby did. $750 million for 120 people. Now let's talk about why that's important. Well, here's the thing. There's a hidden message for the number 120. Okay, let's talk about it. The law of first mention. You see, the number 120 refers to the law of first mention. Okay, it says that we must first place word, doctrine, or thing, okay, that's mentioned in order to better understand what's being revealed. Does that make sense? Because Tony Busby was talking about revealing Diddy, okay? Now, this also represents the end of all flesh, all right? It meant judgment and a divinely appointed period of probation. It also pointed to God's awesome power and his infinite mercy. So that's a very significant number in the Bible, as well as with Masonry, okay? Now, with that all being said, and for those of you who follow the spiritual channel, and which will be on there tomorrow. I know I lied and told y'all I was going to be on there Sunday. I really didn't lie. I planned on being on there, but something came up. Now, with that all being said, yesterday I had an appointment, and then today I have to go visit somebody at the hospital. So we're going to be on there tomorrow. But for those of you that follow the spiritual channel, I told you all about how the Bible is full of numerology and astrology, even though many Christians will tell you that that's occult practices and that you should not engage in it. It's right there in the Bible, and they just don't understand it because they don't understand allegories and hidden messages. Hence, they don't understand the Bible that they claim to read. Okay, please pay attention. Now, as far as Masonry, here's the thing. The Freemasonry 120 Western Hermetic tradition. Let me share my screen. Y'all see that? Freemasonry 120 Western Hermetic tradition. Okay, I told y'all this man's a Mason. Okay, I told you all this man is a Mason. Y'all gonna learn to listen to the Queen in the first place and stop listening to lies. Okay, and I also wonder if Tony Busby, I just happen to wonder if he is a member of the Mason Lodge 120 in San Francisco. And the reason I wonder is because he does business in California. Let's not forget that Ava, the law group that referred Little Miss Jane Doe to him, is in San Diego, California. Okay. I have several questions for Mr. Tony Buzbee. That's all I'm saying. So he was playing in our faces. That's what he was doing. All right. That's what he was doing. So anyway, with that all being said, and then it's also something that's used in gematria, okay, as well. Now, and they have the properties of the number 120, the symbolisms of it, okay? And there's a whole bunch of information about it. So I just want you all to know that Tony Buzbee was playing in our faces from day one. That's what he was doing at the end of the day. That's what he was doing at the end of the day. And here's the thing. Okay, Cookie said, hashtag you heard it here first. DJ Major Scaling says, I'd like to learn more about gematria. Yeah, you really should. It's very interesting, beloved. Okay, trust me when I tell you, it is very interesting. Now, with that all being said, honey, we have to pay attention because this is why I keep saying I don't really think they have a whole lot of information on Diddy. Okay, I don't really think they have a whole lot of information on Diddy as to have a viable case to send him up the river where he needs to go. Let's talk about this report that came out on yesterday. Diddy's legal team says infamous freak-offs were consensual. Now, they keep saying this, okay? This isn't as signed, sealed, or delivered as most people think that it is for the prosecution. I'm sorry, say what? Who told y'all this first? Where did you hear this first? Well, you have people sitting up here trying to act like I'm defending Diddy because I'm just telling y'all the facts. Let's not forget that I have a fair amount of legal expertise. Okay. All right. I did study law in college. Please sit down somewhere. Now, with that all being said, I find it all interesting. Okay. I find it all interesting because what? Hold on. Let me share the screen. Y'all see that? Y'all see that? Diddy's legal team says infamous freak-offs were consensual. Underneath that, you maybe can't read it because it's small. It says this isn't as signed, sealed, or delivered as most people think it is for the prosecution. Honey, y'all gonna start listening to the queen because I'm the one who knows what the hell I'm talking about. Okay? I'm the one who knows what the hell I'm talking about. I don't care what y'all say. Diddy's legal team is saying that his infamous freak-offs were all consensual amongst every party involved. And some top lawyers say the same. Some top lawyers see the play. That's what they said, top lawyers. But it's interesting because Tisa Tales is always talking about, I've talked to all these different attorneys and they're saying this and they're saying that. Nobody's telling her any damn thing. She's making stuff up and saying it herself because what she's doing is telling her subscribers what she thinks they want to hear. Because when she says anything to the contrary, they go in on her in the comments. And she doesn't like that. See, I don't care if y'all go in on me because I will go right back in on you. And if you get too jazzy, I'll drop the link. Okay? I'll drop the link. That's what I'll do. But anyway, because are you on here to hear the truth or to hear lies, painted narratives, okay, hidden agendas, all right, clickbait? What are you here for? Ask yourself. Okay, so anyway, with that all being said, it goes on to say that in a new clip from TMZ's The Downfall of Diddy, His Defense, various attorneys spoke. Okay, if you want to know what all attorneys are saying, many attorneys are saying, don't listen to Tisa Tales. She's making shit up. Go listen to real attorneys, okay? And here's what they're really saying. Various lawyers spoke about the legal strategy, including Joe Tacopina. Who's Joe Tacopina? Well, I'm so glad you asked. You see, that's A$AP Rocky's attorney who just got him off when he was facing over 20 years. Joe Tacopina, who served as A$AP Rocky's lawyer for his Hollywood assault trial, he agreed with Diddy's team, asserting that there may be some weight to their legal arguments in court. Okay? Saying that the battleground here will be consent. Didn't I tell y'all this? I'm sorry, say what? Remember the video I did and I was acting like I was on the defense and I was telling you what I would do and say and how I would proceed if I were on the defense team? Okay? Saying that the battleground here will be consent. Didn't I tell y'all this? I'm sorry, say what? Remember the video I did and I was acting like I was on the defense and I was telling you what I would do and say and how I would proceed if I were on the defense team? Okay? All right, but let's keep going. Now, and quite frankly, at the time, it sounds, he says, like people were consenting, even Cassie. It's not S trafficking if everyone wants to be there. Did Diddy hold them all at gunpoint? Did he have a knife? Did he have a stick of dynamite and a lighter? Okay, they were there because they wanted to be there. When you think of S trafficking, you have connotations of people being sold for SEX, and you're not going to get that here. Didn't I tell y'all that too? Didn't I tell y'all that too? I'm sorry, y'all need to give me some fire emojis in the chat. Y'all need to give me some fire emojis in the chat. Didn't I tell you all this exactly? Didn't I tell y'all this last week? Okay. At the end of the day, that's going to be the key thing. Was there consent? And I told you all, I said, how is it trafficking when Diddy wasn't selling Cassie to anybody? If he was, there's no evidence of it. Cassie didn't even say that Diddy was getting paid for having her sleep with anybody. Diddy was the one paying people to sleep with her, allegedly. He was paying the S workers. So how is he a trafficker, Cassie? All the rest of them. Prosecution. Y'all see how you see where this is going? How is he in a RICO by himself and not one other single person was indicted? Now, this ain't me defending Diddy. I'm bringing up viable questions that you all should be asking yourselves. So if Diddy gets off, you won't be perplexed or sitting there looking crazy and so surprised and shocked and appalled. Or if he just gets a mere 4 to 5 years with time served included, which is what I think is about the gist of it. Excuse me. And as far as the illegal weapons with no serial numbers, the illegal substances that were there, one of his bodyguards, one of his staff members, somebody could cop to that and say it was theirs for a nominal fee. And that goes away. Please pay attention. There were numerous people in the house. Diddy wasn't at the house. He was at the Opalaka airport sitting in a jet. So who brought the illegal substances and the guns into the house? Can you prove that it was Diddy? Diddy has numerous residences and he has people in and out all the time. This is what the defense is going to say. This is what the defense is going to say. I want you all to pay attention because this is called critical thinking skills at work. And a lot of people don't have them, sadly. But let's continue. So goes on to say, from what I've been told, is that the defense has countless, now this is Joe Tacopina talking. From what I've been told is that the defense has countless written communications that will negate any lack of consent in this case. That will negate any coercion in this case. They have written communications, baby. What's the written communications? I bet you it's Cassie's text messages to Diddy. I bet you it's Cassie's text messages to Diddy. Making plans. Okay, it's going to negate any stories about there being a lack of consent or coercion. It's going to be hard for them to say, yeah, I wrote this stuff, but I was just scared. And I wrote that I was happy to come, but I wasn't really happy to come. Woo, honey. Y'all see how they done effed up? This isn't as signed, sealed, or delivered as many people think it is for the prosecution. Diddy got those tapes with the real people on there that they want. Lucian Grange, Clive Davis, the people that they want to protect. That's my opinion. I can't prove it, but I think Diddy got those tapes. And this is why I don't think Diddy's going to get a lot of time, if he gets any time. At the end of the day, I've been telling y'all this. This is a sad day, but it is what it is. As the trial date draws near, the embattled mogul has been hit with even more lawsuits. Most recently, Diddy was hit with a lawsuit from a John Doe, alleging that Sean Combs sexually assaulted him on the set of a commercial in 2022 or 2023. The man don't even know what year it was, and that was just a short while ago. Is he telling the truth or is he lying? I think he's lying. And let's not forget that some of the cases have already been dismissed. Now, the Southern California-based man explained, said they were filming a high-profile commercial where he was contracted to work as a photographer or production assistant. The unnamed man then allegedly began speaking with the Bad Boy Records founder, which led the superstar to invite him back to his trailer. Things immediately escalated from there, and as John Doe recalls, Diddy demanded oral relations from him, saying, "If you suck it right, I'll make your career take off." An incident that the man calls blatant sexual quid pro quo. Said Combs framed this meeting as an opportunity for Doe to advance his career. Doe, although hesitant, could not turn down what appeared to be a career-defining moment a career-defining moment few ever received. So I'm sorry, sir. How is Diddy guilty of anything? He offered you, proposed to you. He gave you an indecent proposal. You go down there, get on them knees and taste the cucumber, and I'll advance your career. And you chose to do it because you said that's not an opportunity that many people will receive. So you willingly did it. Diddy didn't threaten you, according to your own words. He didn't hold a gun to your head. There was no bodyguard standing around, sir. You did what you wanted to do because you wanted your career to be advanced. And the only reason that you're filing this lawsuit trying to get money now, in my opinion, is because Diddy didn't advance your career. After you swallowed his bodily fluids. Gross. I'm calling gross, okay? I'm just calling nasty at this point. All right. He says the implication was clear. Also, that if Doe did not perform the act, Diddy to Diddy's satisfaction, his career would be over. So you had to get down there and do it, or else, sir, please sit down. This is all nefarious. I just want you all to pay attention. Okay, I want you all to pay attention. Sheila said nasty ass. Exactly. Exactly. Okay, he did it for an opportunity. Now you want to cry foul? See, a lot of these people are just crying foul because they did things for Diddy and with Diddy and to Diddy and thought they were going to get something, and they didn't get what they thought they were going to get. Now they're mad. Now that's just some of the people, okay? That's just some of the people as far as I'm concerned. Anyway, I find it all so interesting. They said it was consensual. That's what they said. And, you know, I've been telling you all that, too, that the only videos that the feds have are the 9 videos Cassie gave them in December of 2023. And they've already said that it looks consensual. And I believe it because the agent anonymously spoke to the New York Post. I keep telling y'all, and told them that we don't know whether or not it was consensual. Yeah, you don't know whether or not it was consensual because it was consensual. Okay, they're going to try to use the freak off video to say that, oh, this is why he made her do it. But the bottom line is she did it again and 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 again for a whole decade. Out of a whole decade, you're going to tell me you didn't have a chance to get out of there? This is what the defense is going to ask. This isn't me asking. But the defense is going to say, out of a decade of being in a relationship with this man when he was doing all these things and forced you to do all these things, there was never an opportunity. You can never get anybody to help you. When your mother called the police on Diddy in 2016, why didn't you have him arrested and press charges? Okay? I'm just telling y'all like it is. Don't hate the messenger. Now, I have one more thing that I want to talk about before we roll up out of here. Okay? I got one more thing to talk about, and y'all, some of y'all are going to not like it, but some of you all will get the point. Let's talk about it. Waka Flocka. How many of you heard about the controversial statement or answer that Waka Flocka gave to a reporter, or when he was being interviewed? How many of you heard the controversial statement that he made that's got everybody on the internet, got many people on the internet in an uproar, specifically women, Black women specifically, but all women? One's in the chat if you all have heard about this. One's in the chat what Waka Flocka has going on. Okay, I see a whole lot of twos and just a couple of ones, so let's get into it. I like Waka Flocka. I like Waka Flocka. He's always been like what I would call, you know, a smart dude, kind of woke and all that. So let's talk about it. Because here's what's going down. Waka Flocka was being interviewed, and he asked the question, what would he do? Hold on. Let me make sure I got the video first. Okay, I got the wrong thing pulled up. Hold on. Here we go. Waka Flocka was asked the question, the wife or kids? If you could only save one and you're in a lake, who are you going to save, your wife or your kid? Let's go to it and see what he had to say about it. Likes up, everyone. Please like and share. Reggie said, I liked him on his reality shows. Yeah, I did too, beloved.
Scenario. You're on a boat in the middle of the ocean with your wife and your child, and it's still a young child. Both of them get lodged into the water.
My wife.
You're gonna save your wife?
Yeah.
Why?
It's my wife.
Period. That's it.
I love my wife before I love my child. How the f could I choose my child over something or someone that created you? Respectfully, I gotta make another one. Cause I cannot make the same woman I love. It's impossible.
It's impossible.
Like you can't play with love. Like real talk. And this ain't for people that's inspiring to be loved or living in just bought an apartment with each other. The conversation, nah, it's real. So I know that kid, it wasn't meant for you.
I feel the same way.
Facts.
And you know, I got thousands of comments of people saying that's because you've never been a mother. You've never given birth yet. Oh, and he's going to divorce you in 3 seconds. And for me, it feels like a lot of these people are coming from trauma. Y'all don't really, and imagine if you treated your spouse with that level of regard, esteem, and respect. No, go ahead.
But you see what you just said?
Yeah.
How people gave you the opinion?
Yeah.
You know how much power you could have gained just by saying, that's your opinion. I don't know me.
Oh, I don't care.
No, I'm just telling you, like, I'm telling you, if you could learn, like, it don't matter because they throwing you off your game. You drifted. The one thing the devil loves the most is people that drift.
True.
So when you got purpose, your purpose was you being real, how you feel. You explain why you said it, done. Move on.
Period.
That's facts. That's facts. That's why I don't care what people say about me. I tell you all the time that how you feel about me is absolutely none of my business. And that's why I don't give a darn who gets mad about my opinions and what I say in my commentary. If you disagree, that's fine. But at the end of the day, I'm not going to tell you what you want to hear. That's not going to get you anywhere in life. People just telling you what you want to hear all the time, that's not going to help you. Okay. Now, Greta says, I did not agree with the statement he said. He said he would save his wife, but not the child. He can make some more children. Well, here's the thing. Most men think like that. It's a fact. Most men think like that. Here's the thing. You see, men don't carry a child for 9 months. Women do. That child in the womb for 9 months, well, you're building a bond with that child. And women, mothers, you know, they have a deeper love. That's why they have that old saying that we used to hear as kids, mama's baby, daddy's maybe. Okay? How many men abandon their children? Think about it. How many men stop seeing their children because they're mad because the mother or the wife left them? And they're so angry with the mother that they don't even want to see their own children. Think about it. And also, here's a true story that happened years ago. I believe it was in 2009. Now, listen to this. It's called A Father's Agony. True story. I remember when this happened. Father's agony as he was forced to choose between saving the wife or his son from drowning after car plunges into a river. You see, this story is likely why the woman asked Waka that question. After his car plunged into a river, Stacey Horton had an agonizing decision to make: rescue her or their teenage son. His wife, Vanessa, had escaped from the car but was crying for help as she struggled to keep her head above water, while their son, Silva, age 13, was still trapped inside the sinking vehicle. With time to save only one, Mr. Horton dived into the water. Now, in the evening of darkness, he could only just still see the monster station wagon, which was already 3 feet below the water and sinking fast, nose first, with the glow of the taillights fading into the darkness. He said, I tried to get down and get him, but I couldn't. It was just too deep. And Vanessa was going under. Vanessa was going under. Your son was going under. Okay, your son was going under. I made a call to him. I'm sorry, I made a call to pull my wife to safety. I looked back and I could see the tall lights or the tail lights, but it was too far and I couldn't get to him. I just had to accept the fact that he had to go, that he was gone. Instead of going down and risking my life as well as my wife and sons, I chose to take Vanessa, back. I chose to take Vanessa back and sat on the shore praying. It was all I could do. That's what he said. That's what he said. Now, me personally, if that was my son, one of my sons, I'm literally going through hell and high water to try and save them. That's what I'm going to do. I can't live on this earth knowing that I allowed one of my sons to die. I couldn't do it. But anyway, that's just me. But anyway, goes on to say, Silva's friend and the family dog, who had also been in the car, had managed to scramble to safety by the time Mr. Horton arrived at the scene 2 minutes after the car entered the Whanganui River, north of Wellington, New Zealand. So the friend lived. The tragedy began when a group of children broke the Hortons' letterbox at their home in Wackinaw before running off. Mrs. Horton, age 35, clambered into the station wagon with Silva and his friend to give chase, while her husband followed in another car. He caught up with his wife's car not far from their home. It was thought that she had found a group of children and stopped to confront them when the car rolled down the riverbank. Okay, it rolled down the bank into the river. After Mr. Horton had made his heartbreaking decision to drag his wife to safety, police and firefighters summoned by passersby dived into the murky water to try to free Silva. However, by then, even reaching the vehicle proved impossible in the darkness. We tried everything, but to no avail. That's what a senior fire officer, Gary Wilson, said. It was a long shot, but it was worth the risk to try to save him. It was worth the risk to try and save him. That's what a firefighter who's not even related to this child said. It was worth the risk. And that's what I'd have been thinking. Police spokesman Kim Perks said, it was a very tough call for Mr. Horton. I certainly would not have wanted to be in his shoes. Divers managed to recover Silva's body on Sunday. Mrs. Horton said that she was comforted by her belief that Silva, a committed Christian, was now in a better place. He'll be having a party at the moment. Okay, Mr. Horton said he was outgoing and everyone he came across, he made friends with. Bless his little heart, honey, because your daddy lets you drown. Everyone he didn't like, if he saw they were in trouble, he would go and help them. He rammed as much into his life as anyone could possibly do. It's just a freak accident. We can't blame anyone. I've forgiven the kids who were wrecking our letterbox. I love those kids and I know how they will be feeling. You don't love those kids, honey, please, okay? Oh, I'm sorry. That's what the mother said, so maybe she does. I don't hold them responsible. The couple said that Silva's funeral on Thursday would be a celebration of his life, and they plan to release 13 balloons, one for each year they spent with him. Bless Silva's little heart, honey, because they let him drown in that water. His father did anyway. I'm going to share a picture of him. You see, men don't have the emotional attachment that women do. Men do not have the emotional attachment that women do. Okay, that's the father, the mother. All right. And that's the friend in the glasses, I guess. There's little Silva, who's no longer here. So the bottom line is, beloveds, at the end of the day, men prefer to keep their women over their children in most cases. That's just a fact. And here's how they think. Now, just think about this. Sometimes children grow up, they, well, not sometimes, all the time. Children grow up, they go off to college, they go off on their own and start their own careers. You might barely hear from them. They might come and visit you a couple of times a year, call you every now and then or whatever. Waka Flocka wants his wife because she's going to always be there. Okay? Of course, unless they get a divorce. But I'm just saying, he wants his wife. You see, men want somebody to grow old with because they know when they start getting old, they're going to need somebody to see about them. 9 times out of 10, it won't be your kids. Your kids, when they go off into the world, they're out there. Okay? Then they're going to get wives or husbands, and those people will be important to them more so than you. Doesn't mean they don't still love you, but I'm just saying. That's how I believe he was looking at it. Troy said it depends on the person. Well, of course it depends on the person, but this is how most men think. Okay? According to studies, most men would prefer the woman over the child. And we don't even have to look at a study. We know that for how some men treat their children. Okay, we know that it's more women who are single moms than single dads. We know that. Okay, at the end of the day. So Troy said, sorry, Queen, I disagree. Disagree with what, Troy? What do you disagree with? I mean, if you prefer to save your child, that's fine. What are you disagreeing with? The fact that most men would choose the woman, or that you would not choose the woman, you would choose your child. At the end of the day, your opinion is your opinion. But the bottom line is, as I said, most men would choose their wives. Okay? Andrea said, true indeed, Queen, no lies detected at all, but still my child is first. Well, of course, for women, 9 times out of 10, our children would be first. Now, as you saw, the woman in the video said that she would choose the man, but she doesn't have children. And she said that people tell her, you know, you never had a child, that's why. Well, that is why. She's never had a child to bond with. She doesn't know how it feels to be a mother. And in my opinion, if you don't know how it's ever felt to be a mother, okay, and to love somebody deeper than you love yourself, somebody that you created, well, then at the end of the day, you don't really, you know, you can't really give a direct answer, okay, in my opinion. Okay, you really can't give a direct answer in my opinion. And like I said, Reggie said, I would be the nurturing one in my relationship. Okay. And so anyway, that's how it goes. Okay. Waka Flocka said it. A lot of women got mad and went in on him. But like he said, that's his opinion and he's entitled to it. If he wants to keep his wife over the child, like he said, I could make another one. You know, Mr. Horton, I remember the news report when that incident happened in 2009. And he said the same thing. He said, I can't replace my wife. We can make another child. And that's really how men think. They can get another child. I can just go make another one. Okay? Didn't Corey Holcomb say that about his daughter, if I'm not mistaken, when he called his daughter a bitch and they got into it or whatever, and he said something about he could make another one. I think that's what he said. Somebody said that. I think it was Corey Holcomb. So that's how some people feel. At the end of the day, I mean, I can't be mad at Waka for how he feels. That's his opinion. He's very much so entitled to it. All right. I mean, just because I feel differently doesn't mean that I'm going to, go in on him. Because like I said, everybody feels the way they feel. So that all being said, I'm going to conclude this broadcast. Oh, let me tell you all one more thing, because I forgot to tell you all this because I got distracted on yesterday. Do you all remember yesterday when I was talking about Jasmine Crockett, Little Miss Crockett, and I told you all that, all the things they were naming about her, they were saying that she claims we're not going to have any more elections. And I said, how are they blaming her? Trump said that. She just repeated what Trump said. And then they was naming all this stuff about her mocking the governor. And then they said that she told lies about white people and crime. Remember that? And I was about to get into an explanation for why she said that or whatever, but I got distracted because somebody put a comment that I responded to. And so I started talking about that and got off track. But here's the proof right here, or here's the receipt. She did say something about white people and crime, but how's that racist? She told racist lies about white people and crime. That's what they literally said. This is not racist, and this is in fact the truth. Okay, let's talk about it. Because I told y'all, they love to talk about black on black crime like that's the only crime that exists. Now I'm going to put an overlay over this because this is someone else's video that I borrowed.
Make sure y'all got the facts. Most extreme crimes that take place in this country are committed by white supremacists. 80% of extreme crimes are committed by white supremacists in this country. Do you know who went up there on January 6th? White supremacists. This ain't me just telling you this.
Well, I guess it depends on how you define white supremacy.
Yeah, with that all being said, I don't want to hear what he had to say because I think he's a raccoon. But anyway, yeah, that's what you said. Now, the fact of the matter is that's a statement. How's that racist? The truth is the truth. You see, some people like to paint narratives and act like we're the ones out here committing all the crime at the end of the day. But that is just a fact. And pay attention because she said something very significant. She specifically said extreme crimes, not just regular crimes, extreme crimes. Those are committed by wanted supremacists because at the end of the day, they're the ones out here committing the acts of domestic terrorism. They're the ones that insurrected the Capitol. They're the ones that are usually the mass shooters. Okay? There's no lies there. All right? So please pay attention. They're the ones committing all the hate crimes. They're the ones. So there's no lies detected. So again, they're just trying to paint narratives to try to take down Little Miss Crockett. Okay, but like I said on yesterday, Little Miss Crockett needs to get to work on getting some legislation put out there. She needs to get to work real quick. That's all I'm saying. Now, with that all being said, I'm going to conclude this broadcast. I want to thank you all for tuning in. Okay, if you missed the broadcast yesterday, please go back and watch. All right, it was very interesting and informative, the one I did last night about Little Miss Crockett. Okay, I'm Reverend Christ as Queen. Have you seen the Cartier family? How they going in on black people constantly, but they're black themselves. Isn't that a YouTube channel? I've seen them. It's like sons and maybe a father or something. I've seen them. I don't watch them, but I have seen their videos pop up or whatever. I mean, hey, thing about it is people going in on black people and they're black, nothing but fools. Okay, they're nothing but idiots. How are you going in on people who look like you? I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, sometimes we have to go in on our people because we have to hold each other accountable. Now, if that's what they're doing, then I don't have any qualms with that because we do have to hold ourselves accountable. Okay, that's what we have to do. If we want to talk about other people taking us out, we need to also talk about those of us, these gang bangers, these thugs out here that some of y'all raising or letting the streets raise. We need to talk about that. And let me say one more thing too. Some of the people that were talking about, you know, they didn't agree with Waka Flocka. Even some of the women that were saying they don't agree with Waka Flocka, you know, saying that he would choose his wife over the kids. Some of y'all are the same people. Some of these people that were saying that are the same people who just a year or so ago were saying F them kids. Y'all remember that when that little saying was going around, when it was trending, F them kids? I never said F them kids because why would you say that? Even if they're getting on your nerves. But some of y'all was talking about F them kids. Now y'all want to sit there and act like, oh no, I wouldn't pick my man or my woman over my kids. So that's what I wouldn't do. Yeah, you would. You damn sure would. Some of y'all are sitting up here lying. Please pay attention. Okay, with that all been said, don't get mad at the queen, honey. The truth is the light. Walk in it. Okay, bask in it. All right? So with that all been said, I love you all to life. I hope you enjoy the rest of this beautiful day. Each one teach one. That's how we grow and thrive. Do something productive, constructive, but never destructive. And always remember, beloveds, to keep the Most High first in your lives. Until next time, peace.
Gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you're done. They show no love for the queen. Why you hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans? I got dreams like King Luther, shed blood like Kunta. You ain't helping my people, I ain't got nothing to say to ya. I want all the smoke like hookah. Talking reparations, America won't be great until they give us compensation. I'm like, I'm the hottest next right now. See a bunch of lames out here trying to jock on my style. They be doing too much. I'm the queen, it's too easy. It's like they all at Popeyes, how they be talking so greasy. I just sit back and laugh while these haters get madder. So nefarious how they don't want my pockets with cheddar. I tell them they can do better. These snakes in the grass can leave a bite on your ass, cause y'all be trusting too fast. I got my foot on the gas, other one on they necks. Dropping receipts on haters, you better show some respect. I'm never facing regrets, we only facing the threats. Running through every challenge like a relay, break no sweat. It's a cold game, so I got that blanket with me. Now that my people awaken, ain't no going to sleep. I do not play by my piece, this time I'm playing for keeps. You talking slick, but when I see you like them ends, we gon' meet. And I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen, why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen, why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got